Hey guys, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I know the last time I promised to talk about boys, how it affects them to grow up without a father. So we are still on the fatherless matter. So yeah, here it goes. So one thing that I just want to point out first is that your parents' relationship really does determine your view of love and relationships, because you look up to them, you look up to your parents to, you know, whatever they teach you or whatever they do, you normally imitate them, you understand? So yeah, that one is out of the way. And then sometimes another thing is, sometimes the biological fathers that we have aren't the father figures that we need or long for. We really need an emotional available father. We don't really need the absent fathers. We really need an emotional available father, which does not only provide a sense of comfort and safety, but can provide a growing young male with a day-to-day example of what it means to exhibit both strength and vulnerability. So we need present fathers. We need fathers that they are going to groom their kids to be the men that they've always wanted them to be. Okay. And then another thing, this thing of fatherlessness, it really does affect a child's self-worth because of father-like. It has a negative effect, which affects connections and ability to navigate the emotional world of romantic relationships. So fathers, they really need to consider these things. I feel like it's such a big thing, and it's something that we people need to hear and people need to do to support their kids all the way. And then also for the listeners, affects the way a young male, or when they grow up, obviously it will affect the way they behave towards women and how they communicate to them, because they were never really taught how to behave. They were really never taught how to communicate with women because they didn't have a father figure in the house. Okay. And then sometimes they tend to, mm, growing males, they tend to enter partnerships earlier than expected. And then most of the times, there's delinquency and youth crime. There's the violence reactions rather, and aggressions, and sometimes, I don't know if I should say sometimes, most of the times, but then they find it very very hard to connect to the love of God, our Father in heaven, because some, let me just say, some find it very very hard to fellowship and enjoy their Father in heaven. And this is because they do not have a good healthy relationship with their natural fathers, with their earthly fathers. So they find it very difficult to express their love to their Father in heaven, the Father that they have never seen. You understand? So it's something that people really need to take note of. And also they have what do they have? Absolutely no understanding of how to relate to the love of God and His unconditional love, because they have never experienced a fatherly love on earth. So they really need to to be loved, shown love by their fathers here on earth, so that they can understand that the depth of love that their earthly fathers have, and the one with their heavenly father is different, because that one is like it's unconditional. But then, well, we cannot compare that. But yes, that's the problem. So they may have problems with fellowshipping God because they've never really experienced His love, and they don't really understand the depth of love that God has for us. Okay. And then there's emotional stability, and then there will be difficulties in bonding with their own children when they decide to get married, or whatsoever, when they have kids. because they were never taught how to have a healthy relationship with the women and their children as well, and tend to have higher breakup and divorce rates because they were really never taught how to treat a woman, how to bond with their kids. They'll just think that it's normal. I'm there, I'm the father, I'm providing, then that's enough. No, you need to be there for your kids. Like, just be there for your kids, guys. No. And then another thing, you know, the way a father acts the way a father acts really does affect the child's mentality development. People really need to pay attention because sometimes our kids will end up being depressed without us knowing because we don't really give them an ear. Sometimes they just have to talk and you have to listen what they have to say. So yeah, that's it for today, and thank you for watching my videos, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And